By the sort of creativity behind the kills, how he videos their final second. Why, hello there YouTube and welcome back to 31. So it's day 11 now, our penultimate day of 60s week. And for that, I'm reviewing Peeping Tom. Yes, predating Psycho by a couple of months. This is a British horror thriller where we follow antagonist Mark Lewis, who is this photographer but also has a dark obsession as he kills his victims when he videos them with his tripod, which he attaches which has a sharp point on it. As he kills them, he watches them and kind of makes them watch themselves as he kills them. And throughout the film, in the film he does this. But we also see softer sides to him, different sides to him, as well as he lures his victims in. And he grows close with one of his neighbours, who he eventually gains an obsession with and starts to kill. And also we see in his past that he had, trauma with his father, his father's past. Yeah, let's just Peeping Tom. Yeah, a young man murders women using a movie camera to film their dying expression of terror. That's what the premise says. So what did I like about this film? Well, I thought that this film had good cinematography, and also this film's 65 years old and it was in colour. I also liked our leading man in this. I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm going to try and pronounce it. Boehm, if I'm saying that right, where he plays Mark Lewis, or credited as Carl Boehm. We see his, he does a very unnerving, unsettling performance, I think, and looks somewhat unnerving. And I also thought, quite sympathetic in some parts. But I also admire the sort of creativity behind the kills, how he videos their final seconds. I don't believe this is based on any book or anything like that. And this film is about 100 minutes long, so not a long movie. So just 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I thought that was a reasonable length of time for the film. This also cemented the foundation for films that would come in the years. This predated, Friday the 13th, it predated Halloween, Black Christmas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Psycho. When it comes to what film was one of the first sort of slashers or psychological killer films, people would mistakenly say Psycho, but if you know your horror trivia, you know that it is Peeping Tom that predates them all. Even in Scream 4, that becomes a question for Kirby, and she gets it wrong because Peeping Tom predated Psycho by a couple of months. This came out in April of 1960. So yeah, I mean, could this have worked in black and white? Maybe it could have worked in black and white, but I think it looked good in colour as well, the way how it was made and that. So I thought it had good direction and that, some good intense moments. Of course, I wasn't as creeped out or unnerved by it, because all this sort of horror is very, very tame by today's standards, especially this film. I think it's a PG or something? PG is it? That's 50. But I gotta say, very tame sort of horror for today's viewing, because our generation, since then, so much worse stuff has come out since. Well, much worse graphic stuff has come out since then. But I can see how this terrified audiences of the 60s, all this vintage classic horror we look at today. We gotta know that back then, nothing like this had been made, and it wasn't, terrified a lot of people with its horrors and stuff. It's like Dracula, 1931's Dracula, that actually caused a woman to faint when he did the hypnosis thing, not just a woman, but women. And Psycho even creeped out a few people, and Frankenstein and that. All that we look at today and it's tame, but, put yourself in the shoes of the people from the 30s. In fact, Frankenstein was so graphic, it had to have a guy on screen warn people about the picture beforehand. And that was before certificates were even made for films in the US, I believe. But yeah, Peeping Tom. Yeah, it was, it was alright. I'm glad I watched it. I'd not really seen it much before, or at least not seen it all the way through. So I thought maybe I'm going to sit down and watch this, and I'm glad I did. So yeah, there were some drawn out bits in there, some slow burning moments that will probably feel slow today maybe, but yeah, I will give this, I'll give it 4 stabs out of 5, I think. 4 stabs out of 5 for Peeping Tom. So there you go, there is my review for today. Have you seen this one? Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. You can watch all the 31 so far on the channel, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for our last day of 60s week. But I will give you a look and a sneak peek of the theme we got coming next. Of course, if you've seen the promo, you know what theme it is. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, so until then, don't have nightmares.